Hey everybody, Terry O back at you. Thanks for tuning in today. Today, a little short and sweet lesson. I'm going to do a 3-for-1. These are some mental hacks. 3 creative mental hacks to up your guitar game. This is going to help you with retaining what you know, learning quicker, learning more effectively, and also how to learn like really difficult things and improve your speed. 3 hacks I use myself. I didn't invent the stuff, but like I said, I practice what I preach on this channel and I make a living from what I teach. So it's worked for me. All right, number 1, learning chords. Here's a little tip to help you when you're learning chords. It doesn't matter if you're at stage 1 on the Mel Bay book, page 1. Doesn't matter if you're learning a really advanced Alan Holdsworth type chord. This works. And when I used to teach, I used it all the time. Speaking of Alan Holdsworth, all right, so let's take a chord like that, a really beautiful way to play an E major 7 chord. Now, if you're a beginner, that can be a bit difficult, because it's a little bit of a finger twister in there, twisting your fingers around. So here's a little hack. All right, what you do is play the chord, get out your diagram, your tab, whatever you're trying to use to learn it. Make sure you have the chord fingered correctly. Make sure it's played. Sounds good. Now, forget about the right hand for a second, or your picking hand. Take a visual mental snapshot of your left hand. Now, what does that mean? I mean, study it and visualize where your fingers are. Make little mental notes. Now, the guitar is a very pattern-oriented instrument. There's a lot of shapes in there, and we could take advantage of that. Well, here's a triangle. Oh, yeah, my pinky, that gets more of an angle. Then, after you're done making the mental picture, take your fingers off and immediately try to place them back in the same spot, the correct chord shape. Now, you're probably not going to be able to do it. That's okay at first. What you're doing is you're trying to program, you are going to program your muscle memory. And we're going to talk about muscle memory a lot in this little video. You're programming yourself to play the correct shape. So after a while, your hands will just go there, all right? And this works with any chord you're trying to learn. Doesn't matter. I use it sometimes for different voicings. Works with anything. So that's tip number 1. All right. Okay. Tip number 2. Here's a way to practice to double your practice time when you're practicing away from your instrument. Now, I talked about this before, back when I started the channel 9-10 months ago. But it's worth mentioning again. There's a lot of new subscribers there. So briefly, what do I mean? I mean, if you're trying to learn, let's say, just for the sake of illustration, you're doing your cage patterns, and this position, this F, I just can't get that one, Shane. Something throws me off. All right, so practice it the best you can. Like I said, you practice it. Get it as good as you can, and you know the shape in your head. And then next time you're away from your guitar, take a second, close your eyes, and just visualize yourself playing the chord, playing the scale, rather, playing it perfectly with no mistakes. Close your eyes, practice going up and down the scale perfectly, and try to feel what that would feel like, that you're playing it perfectly, no mistakes. Go over one note at a time in your head, slowly. Now, I know this sounds like some hocus pocus mojo gumbo stuff. No, it really works. This is what sports people use, golfers, top basketball players. They visualize themselves sinking the shot, making the putt, all that stuff. It works for guitar too. So I got this out of a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. It's, I guess, what you would call a self-help book. It's a classic book. But a lot of music people have used this book over the years. Like I said in another video, I know Herb Ellis and Howard Roberts were fans of this book and this sort of mental practicing. And in the book, they talk about how your brain doesn't really know the difference between real and rehearsed in the brain. So you can take advantage of downtime, like if you're on an airplane. I do this all the time. If I'm on a long flight, I might have the notation or the score in front of me or the lead sheet, and I'm practicing in my head. And I know enough now on the guitar, and I'm sure some of you do too, where you don't really need the instrument as much. You do to keep your technique up, but I can kind of practice in my head. I don't really need to be sitting at the guitar. And that's one of the things it's worth developing for you. Learn how to practice in your head, all right? Okay, number 3, Here's another tip. If you're trying to learn really big chunks of material, and also if you're trying to learn how to play fast, here's the tip. It's kind of a one and a halfer, all right? First thing is you want to chunk things. You want to break it into bite-sized pieces. Now, even smaller than you think, more of a nibble-sized piece. So if you're trying to learn some really complicated piece like a Bach etude or something like that, break it into where you basically can't make a mistake. Howard Roberts said something I thought was really great, and it was kind of genius comment. He was talking about, if you can play one note correctly, you can play the whole piece. It's just a matter of stitching together note after note after note. Now, there's some dynamics and some technique in there, but basically that's the gist of it. You know, you eat it one bite at a time. And I use this, let me give you an example, real world. Like I said, I practice what I preach. I make a living from what I teach, right? That's my little motto. When I was doing the Daryl's House show with Robert Fripp, so Robert Fripp got in touch with me, and we were talking about the songs we were going to do, and he was telling me that, you know, I can't really play some of these parts. I haven't played them in years, so you do the heavy lifting on this song and this song. And some of these things were kind of difficult. Or there were a few more other little passages. So what I did was I broke it into bite-sized chunks, really, really slow. Take one note at a time. Now you might go, that's kind of ridiculous. No, because what you're doing is you're programming your muscle memory to play it correctly. If you practice it above your level, like a lot of guys would do that, and then they just speed up right away and start doing this, and keep doing it. What you're doing is you're programming mistakes into your muscle memory. And it's hard to undo that. Once you get them in there, man, it's hard to pull them out. So practice slower than you think. All right, that's to sum it up. Practice slower than you think and bite-sized chunks. Like a phrase like, that's just slow muscle memory. Getting each phrase, each note perfectly. If there's a little glitch in there, no, you're practicing too fast. And slow it down more than you think. All right, those are my 3 hacks. They work for me. I think they'll work for you too. Hey, give me a like, subscribe, help me build the channel. Also, I have a new video course out on rhythm guitar called Deep Pockets Rhythm Guitar Mastery. Check it out. I think you'll dig it. It's jam-packed, over 3 hours of content. And I'll see you soon. Terrio out.